I believe that the flying saucers are objects from another planet.
The Navy has no saucer-shaped aircraft or missiles.
There's no good reason for keeping this secret for 3 decades.
The government's been lying about UFOs for 50 years.
One of the more sinister things that are associated with UFOs is called the abduction phenomenon. This happens when people claim that an entity from another world takes them against their will and performs various medical procedures on them.
I woke up and I saw these 2 gray figures in my room coming from the window towards me, kind of gliding, not really walking. And my first instinct was, stop, don't come any closer. Don't touch me. Don't kill me. You know, I mean, it was just sheer terror straight out. Something happened and then I wasn't scared anymore. One of them had a black box about the size of a shoebox, maybe, kind of the shape of a shoebox. And it kind of drifted over to me. I said, can I have it? And he said, no, you can't have it. But when you see it again, you'll know what to do. I recall standing at the kitchen window and looking out the kitchen window to the pump house and swimming pool area. And I saw a light in the pump house. The light was a different color. It was more of a whitish light instead of that yellow incandescent bulb that was in there. It just wasn't quite right. I went out there, looked around the backyard, didn't see anything. I did find my dog under my dad's ladder truck, but she would not come out. And I'm like, fine, stay there, I don't care. Went to the garage, and as I looked around in the garage, I didn't see anyone, but I suddenly felt like I was on fire. And I could feel every molecule of my body vibrate individually. I don't know how to describe it. I felt like I was on fire, and I thought, I have to get out of here right now. And I ran to the door. And as I got in the doorway, I was hit right here by a light. It spread through my legs. It spread through my arms. I could not move. Time stopped, literally. And I felt like I was individually vibrating 1,000,000 molecules that made up me, and I could feel every single one of them. I don't know how long I was like that. I don't think I could have lasted more than a few seconds, but it felt like an eternity at that moment. When the brightness faded, I was left out in the doorway, out on the patio, and I could not move, but I could move my eyes. But my vision was totally wrecked. It was like 1,000,000 people took my picture all at the same time with flash bulbs, and I just had all these white spots in my vision, and I saw movement out in front of me. And I thought it was kids. I thought there were 6 kids in my mom's backyard, and I thought, what the hell are all these kids doing in my mom's yard? What, you know, but then I realized they don't quite look like kids. And I noticed that they had come from different areas in the yard, and they all kind of moved together and formed this line. And then they rolled, kind of slid or glided down across and in front of me. And that's when I saw this thing, this egg-shaped craft. And I didn't want to look at it. As soon as I saw it, I was like, you know, I didn't want to look at it, but then I didn't not want to look at it because I needed to know where it was in relationship to me at all times, you know, because it was scaring me. And I was stuck. I couldn't move. At around that time, I felt something pull down on my shoulders, and I felt like somebody took a hot knitting needle and shoved it in my ear, this one, all the way into the middle of my head. And I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. And I tell everyone now, when that happened, I died that night, and the new Debbie was born. Because from that point on in my life, I was different. I was excited to be a mother because it's all I ever wanted. I went to the doctor. The doctor confirmed my pregnancy. I remember falling asleep on the couch one night, And I remember laying there on the couch with my back to the TV, and I felt something stroke my spine, my shoulder down. You know, the next thing I remember is waking up in my niece's bed, and it's morning. And all I think of was my baby. There's something wrong. And I went to the restroom to make sure everything was all right. And everything was fine, but I couldn't shake this feeling. Something was not right. So when I told my best friend, she was there that night when the weird lights happened, she said, come with me to Planned Parenthood. You can get a free pregnancy test there. Nobody will ask you any questions, and then you'll shut up. And I remember waiting out in the waiting room after the test, and the lady came back out and she said, well, your test is negative, but if you don't have your period in another week, you need to see your family physician. And all I heard was the word negative, and I was just out of it at that point. Could have, you know, it was like I got hit here by a brick. And we got a doctor's appointment and went back. Another pelvic exam, another test. The doctor says, come into my office, sits my mom and I down, and he says, well, you're not pregnant. And I said, how is that even possible? You know, and he goes, well, sometimes these things happen. This is what he said. We see this. And he said, if I were you, I would just forget it ever happened. You're young, you'll have other children. The government has deals with them and all this stuff. I don't know. Maybe they do. I can only speak for myself and my own experience, you know? And I just know that if we want the disclosure that we're waiting for, it's gonna have to be from us, the people who've had this experience. We all gotta band together, speak up, don't be ashamed, don't be afraid, and demand the truth that we're entitled to. I had 2 kids to raise. I could not afford to be crazy. Times have changed. People's minds are open, and I'm so glad to see it, you know. But I want people to know for every one person like me in the world, there's 100,000 that won't say anything. Even now, they're all, I think a lot of them my age. Younger people are more apt to speak it out and say it and say, I saw this and this is real, you know, but people my age, it's not so easy. And so I want everyone to know that it's okay. You know, it's still hard for me to talk about it. I still get embarrassed because I keep thinking to myself, I hear my voice and I think, Jesus Christ, I sound like a crazy person. At least I'm not so crazy that I don't realize that I sound like a crazy person. If I didn't think I was crazy, then I might need to be concerned. But I've come to realize that this world is not what you think it is. What you see right here and right now, this is one layer of the onion skin. And it's what our brains are made to be able to perceive.
Something happened to him, the way they were upset. You don't fake fear. You know, he was scared.